When it comes to Google Ads, your product titles are pretty damn important, not only because they give a visual representation of what your product is about to your ideal audience, but also because they help guide the Google Ads algorithm. So in this video, I'm going to show you the perfect product title strategy you can implement right now when it comes to Google Ads to increase your return on ad spend and your revenue as a result. Now, most e-commerce brands out there, what they do is they incorporate a generic product title which works for Facebook ads, which works for TikTok ads, and they never truly end up going deep into the product feed to update it for the Google Ads algorithm. This is a very big mistake because if you apply that same strategy with Google Ads, not only is your product not going to be shown to enough of an audience which you want to target, but in addition, most users won't even understand what your product is about because unlike Facebook, unlike TikTok, there is no sort of creative besides the product itself which the user can look at to understand your product in detail. And second biggest issue, which usually is caused because of this first one, is even if a brand is going to add in some kinds of words in or some make their product title a bit better, they usually end up adding a bunch of random filler words in like and or but or this, just specific random stuff related to the product specification, which holds no SEO value. And let's say you ignore all of this, you don't really pay much attention to your product titles because your brand is heavily focused on, say, the Google Ads strategy or the campaigns. What's going to happen is this is ultimately going to leave the Google Ads algorithm unsatisfied because it's not getting the necessary inputs from your brand, which is going to help it scale to the next level. And in addition to an unsatisfied algorithm, your customers will be left scratching their heads because they don't really understand what the product's about. Product titles make up about 60 to 70% of your overall result when it comes to Google Ads. The rest is the product image, the pricing, etc. But with that, let's now cover what a good product title should even include. And by the end of this video, by the way, we're going to go over 3 separate examples of what a good product title looks like for very simple generic products. But the first thing a good product title is that it makes the Google algorithm life easier. I've said this before, but it's all about the targeting side of things. The better your product title is, the more specific it is, the easier the time the algorithm will have going after your ideal audience, the easier the time it will have winning auctions because now you're doing half of the work which the algorithm has to do. But the second thing a good product title does is it answers any types of key questions the users have. Now, it's important to add certain types of specifications in, like the color of the product, the sizing, who it's made for, is it male, female, gender specific, etc. All these things are super important, and the more your product title is focused on these things along with other perceived value increasing aspects, the better your ads will perform. Because the third thing which a good product title does is it makes the user feel something. This is where perceived value comes into play. Now, I've made a lot of videos on my channel about the importance of product images, perceived value, etc. But perceived value plays a very big role with the product title as well, at least from what I've seen working with now over 500 brands under my agency, Euro Marketing, which, by the way, if you run a brand doing $1 million a year, you need extra help scaling your brand to the next level, go onto my website at euromarketing.com, schedule a free call with me, and let's see if we can potentially work together and make that happen. But the perfect strategy, the perfect guidelines for a good product title, it's a formula which I have developed right now, and that is perceived value increasing keywords in the front, followed by proper SEO strategies, proper SEO techniques, followed by branded words. Now, let's go over a few examples to kind of go in depth into how this formula works. So for the first example, I have the product neck stretcher. If we go onto Google and we just type in the main keyword, which is neck stretcher, we'll see a bunch of different products coming up, which is basically a neck stretching device. We're gonna assume we're trying to sell one of these products right here. And any product title strategy should begin with competitor research. You want to understand what your competitors are doing, how big their titles are, how small they are, etc. So you understand where you should be. Now, what we see here is majority of these product titles coming in the front are smaller product titles. The ones in the back are the bigger ones, which means we need to have a mixture of both of these strategies because it seems like the bigger product titles aren't really working the best. They could be also because of the product image, but in terms of product titles, we want to be somewhere in the middle where it's not too big, nor is it too short. So changing this product and creating a product title for this neck stretcher device, I've already done the keyword research for this, everything. The perfect product title that's search engine optimized, that has perceived value, and that's going to help guide the algorithm is the following. I would put the product title as premium cervical neck traction stretcher device, followed by a little line and followed by the brand name. So if, for example, my brand name was XYZ, then at the very end after that line, I would just add an XYZ to give more of a branded effect to this. So the product itself, neck stretcher, we converted that into high perceived value by adding the keyword premium at the front. We then added search engine optimized keywords to it by making it cervical neck traction stretcher device. All of these words are basically SEO heavy because they have search volume, they have search demand, and the ones in the front, cervical neck traction, that has more keyword search volume than stretcher device at the end. So that's why we have laid it out in that manner, and we have laid it out in a way which is easy to understand. It's not some random jumbled up words together, rather it flows extremely well, which is what you need for the user reading the title. That's the first example. Now moving on to the second example, what essentially we are trying to sell here is a handheld bidet. So if we again go on Google, same process as before, we're gonna look at what the competitors are doing to understand what the product titles are. So it looks like it's a mixture of both small product titles that are not too lengthy, as well as big product titles. So in this situation, because there's more bigger product titles, we might get away by using a smaller product title because we want to stand out from competitors. So with that in mind, again, the handheld bidet would turn into the product title, premium portable handheld travel bidet spray. That's it. Very simple, very to the point. And then at the end, you can again add the line followed by your brand name, again XYZ or whatever your brand name is. But that's essentially what we are going to write for the product title. And it's right in the middle. It's not too big, but it includes perceived value. It has the right kinds of search engine optimized keywords which users are searching for. And this is done after keyword research. If you're not sure how to do keyword research, I've made a video on this which you can check out on my channel. And finally, third example, a hair washing bowl. So if we go on Google, now we search up hair washing bowl, we can see this specific basin kind of product coming up. And again, same formula as before, nothing really changes. It's very straightforward. Looking at competitor product titles, we see all of them are almost big. So this means we can probably get away by writing a smaller product title. So in this situation, we can write something like large portable hair shampoo basin or large portable hair washing bowl. All these are ideal product titles. If you want to incorporate all of these words together, you can also say large portable hair washing shampoo basin bowl. Now this might be a little bit too lengthy compared to the competitors, and it might not really work the best. So that's where you have to chop up some words which don't really have too much SEO value to them and just keep the other ones in there. And then at the very end, of course, you can add in the brand name itself. It's a very simple formula. It's really easy to follow. And as long as you follow this, not only are you going to make sure you're writing for the algorithm, but you're going to also ensure you have happy, satisfied customers who know what your product is, and they can decide very quickly if they want to even click on your ad or not. But again, if you run a brand doing $1 million a year, you need extra help scaling to the next level, go on to my website at yourmarketing.com, schedule a free call with me, and let's see if we can potentially work together and make that happen. But I want you to check out this case study right here of a brand we blew up to multi-7 figures using a product title strategy similar to this.